Hello ladies, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please make sure to like this video, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss it when I go live. So I wanted to talk about the "I don't need a man" phrase and how it is attached to Black women. As a Black woman myself, I've never really said this. I've never thought that I just don't need a man. However, I also haven't lived my life in this desperation for a romantic male partner either. So I want to kind of break this down a little bit and talk to you ladies about needing a man, wanting a man, and just that whole thing. So in 2022, do women actually need a man romantically to live their day-to-day life? No. Women don't. For instance, when you're going to the gas station to put gas in your car, is the gas clerk going to ask you, do you have a husband? Or is he going to say cash or credit? And which pump number, right? So technically, no. Women in 2022 do not need a husband in order to go through their day-to-day life. They don't need a husband to get to work. They don't need a husband, like I just said, put gas in your car. They don't need a husband to cook. They don't need a husband to clean. They don't need a husband to apply for a new job or to enroll into college. They don't need a man for those things. However, we do need men in society, of course. We do need men to protect and provide in the ways that they do in society as a whole. Does one woman need one man in order to become a successful woman, in order to climb the corporate ladder? I don't think so. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. Women who are single are most likely to be successful in the corporate world versus women who are married and with kids. And that is because she doesn't have a husband at home. That's because she doesn't have a kid at home. That she's able to climb these ranks with ease and put her full on focus and energy into her work, into her craft, into her skill sets. Now, since we all know this, I don't understand why men get offended when women say, I don't need a man in my life right now. She literally does not. She doesn't need a male partner as in having a romantic relationship and or marriage for anything that she does day to day to happen. She doesn't need a man in those areas. She doesn't. She simply does not. And the reason why women do not need a husband to do what they want to do today is because of men. Men civilize the world so much that is now possible for women. Women actually can live an entire life without having a husband. They can just work really hard, invest their money, come up with their own retirement plans. They can own their own property and become real estate investors. Like, women don't need to have a husband to make more money. They don't need it. Certain women may, depending on circumstances and the life they brought in, but in a capitalistic society, everyone has the opportunity to climb up if they want to, if they choose to, if they have the ability to, if they have the knowledge, they can do it. And that includes women now. And you know how it was 1950s, 1920s and beyond, when women didn't have rights. It's never going to go back to that ever again. The economy, it makes way too much money and benefits way too much off of women working and women making their own money, because that means now women can consume more. And on top of that, the Proverbs 31 woman, she made her own money. She invested. Okay, she had a craft, she had a passion, she had a skill, and she did not need her man to pursue that skill. That was something that was a gift from God for her to do. Her skills, her passions, her talents, those are all gifts from God. Those aren't gifts from her husband. So she doesn't need a husband to pursue that. However, having a man and having a husband is God's order. It's the order of nature for men and women to be together, to procreate and continue on with society and civilization. But women don't need a man just to live life. They don't. They just do not. And neither do men. Men don't need a woman to live life. Men can be out here and proclaim to live a life of being a bachelor forever if they want. They don't need to have kids anymore. Men can live life pursuing multiple women literally until they drop to the ground. They have that right now. So no one really needs each other in the way that it used to be, because we're so advanced as society today. I think a lot of men are upset about this, particularly the ones who maybe have had a lot of rejection from women. They feel some type of way when you say this, even though it technically is the reality for a lot of women. They are choosing to not have a husband. They are choosing to not have kids. That's why I said, ladies, if you are truly feminine and truly traditional especially, there are a lot of men that you can pick from, because there's a lot of women who don't want to go the traditional route, who do believe that they can live their entire life without a spouse. Maybe they'll have a male lover from time to time, but keeping a man in their life, they don't care to do so. It's just what it is. And if you are a woman who does care to do so, you actually are a special woman. And you know, the word says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing that's worth more than rubies or whatever, right? So finding a wife is a very special thing, because not every woman is trying to be one. They do not care to be one. So a lot of women look at being a wife as simply being a burden, that it's a burdenous thing to be a wife, and it's truly freeing, liberating, and peaceful to be by yourself. There's even research being conducted saying that women who have stayed single and childless up to their 40s are much more happier doing so, that they're much more satisfied, that they have real passions and skill sets in their life. Now over here, I'm pro-marriage, but ladies, this type of research is coming out, and you know, it's making a lot of women believe that they don't need to have a husband to live their life. And guess what? The reality is that they don't. They do not. But we do need men in society. So I'm just going to need, you know, men on here to stop getting angry at women who are okay with living by themselves. That's not something a woman should be shamed to do. It's her choice. And I don't even know why, as a man, you would only want a woman who had to be shamed into getting with you, or shamed into wanting you. If you have to shame someone into wanting something, you played yourself. You should want someone that is already enthused about you. Should never be concerned with a group of people who are saying outright that they don't care to have you around in their life every day. Like, why are you so into making sure that, you know, these types of women feel like they need to have a husband? They don't. They do not. So, you know, that's why these male podcasts telling women they need to submit and they don't know how to do this, you know, it's interesting because they're talking about these women like these women want to be that way. These women who are in these industries living with their best life by themselves, they don't care to be wives, really. They don't. So I don't know why men are always trying to tell them how to be a wife. These women, if they wanted to be a wife, they would just be one. They would just automatically, you wouldn't have to tell a woman how to be something that she wants to be. You wouldn't have to tell her. She would just start being it. She would start surrounding herself around other women who are there. If these girls want to be on OnlyFans and they don't want to be married, they don't care to be married, they're more so about making money, that's what they want to do. It's 2022 and the times are only going to get more advanced. So to tell women that if they don't have a husband, they're going to die alone is the most absurd thing that you could say to a woman in 2022. When women are becoming CEOs and millionaires, they're opening up their retirement accounts, especially black women. You have black women in tech, black women in finance. I mean, you have all these groups to make sure women are taken care of without a husband. So as long as you have that going on, that die alone message is going to fall on deaf ears. It's not going to work. The women that want to be wives, the women that are traditional and want to have a nuclear family, those are the ones who should have your attention. Shouldn't be paying attention to women who are more concerned with making sure that they're taken care of on their own. You should be focused on women who are wanting to have a man in their life to build a family with. At the end of the day, guys, whether we like it or not, marriage is going to start to become some form of an elite, quote unquote, elite institution, because it's not going to be something that everyone's going to want to do, and the people that want to do it and can succeed at it are going to be put in a different category. And it is what it is. That's kind of how the times are heading. A permanent underclass is coming. If it's not already here, it's probably already here, and it's just getting more solidified. But at the end of the day, a woman does not need a husband in 2022 to be successful. They just don't. They don't. But if we're speaking from a biblical standpoint, a traditional standpoint, a conservative standpoint, marriage is a very, very important thing that must happen. If you believe in these things, it must happen. So it's better to focus on people who have those values than to sit here and say what's not going to happen to them based on facts, because the facts are that women are going to be fine if they choose to not have a husband. They are making money and they will literally be okay. The facts also are that women who desire to be married and actually want to be a wife and have their things in order are the ones who are going to end up getting married the most, and they are the ones who are going to last in a marriage. The facts are men who are able to provide 100% for their wife and children are going to be, well, they are the men who are the least likely to be divorced. So men, if you want a wife, if you want a family, make sure you can provide 100%, and make sure you are meeting women who are more on the traditional conservative leaning side, Christian and or some kind of religion that puts family first and foremost. Those are the type of women you need to focus on. The women who want to be in these industries that don't make room for them to be that wife and that mother, I don't suggest you go over there and tell those girls about how they're going to die alone. It's a complete waste of your time. To be honest, men that do that, they look like losers. They look like losers. They look desperate. They're obviously living life in a scarcity mindset. Hence why they need to go to women who blatantly say they don't want a man and skip over the women who do want a man. So if everyone just put their priorities in order, if everyone went to the right areas, I really believe that a lot of issues would be okay. But since men are the most single that they've ever been in human history, a lot of men lack the knowledge that is required for them to have a long-lasting relationship and to connect emotionally with a woman in a way that leads them to have a actual pleasant and happy relationship. And because people are getting married because they want to, not because they need to, marriages are now lasting longer. People are marrying people that they genuinely want to marry, not marrying people they need to marry like the old days. So they're lasting longer. People are reporting that they're happier because they're with someone they actually want and not someone that they need. But it seems that the men online want to go back to the 1930s and older, when a woman needed a man to survive, needed a husband to survive, and women don't need a husband to survive in 2022. This isn't how I feel and what I think. This is literally the facts. If you want to get on here and say that women need a husband in order to pay their bills and keep a roof over their head, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Women don't. So for the women who want to fall into the traditional role, who want to fall into being a wife, into being a good mother, those women are truly one of a kind. They are not the majority. And I suggest that if you are a man that wants a woman like this, you better get ready to be the ones to compete for these women, because they're not out here like that. However, if a woman does love you, if she does respect you, admire you, and honor you, and see you as the man for her, you have nothing to worry about then. So I'm only hearing these complaints from men who have a problem with a woman saying she doesn't need a husband. I'm only hearing that from men who probably couldn't last in a relationship anyway. Because men who can last in relationships, they don't care about these little things. They just don't. So that's all I wanted to say in this video, ladies. Comment down below your thoughts. Please like this video. Subscribe if you're a first-time listener. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss it when I go live. And I will talk to you ladies in the next one.